I've got the blues since they amputated my tooth. Lordy, Lordy, war is well. You know, I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I simply grind, evaporate, I just that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a train if my thirst had only let me quench, and not with Bevo or ginger ale. I want real stuff by the pail.
Welcome to Speak Uneazy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist because we are in a different prohibition era.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Speak Uneazy with your host, the bartender. Tonight's random read is going to come off of the book of Daniel, chapter 1, verses 3 through 7. Well-favored men are chosen. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princess, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the princess of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. Once again, this random read comes from the book of Daniel, chapter 1, verses 3 through 7. Well-favored men are chosen. And let me put this in real quick. And let me see what's going on here. All right. I got one person in the bar right now. Hey, what's going on, Whiskey Blue? Good evening. Thank you for showing up, my friend. Thank you so much. So to start this off, I don't usually drink on Mondays, but yeah, I have to say, it's really cold today. It's really cold today here in Central Texas. And, I know there's other parts of the country that's a lot more colder than it is now, but I'm not a cold person, So I'm just going to drink me a glass of Japanese whiskey, neat. What I have with me tonight is a bottle of Nikka Days, and it's a Japanese whiskey. And description of the whiskey says it's a delicate balance. A delicate balance is achieved by the skillful blending of grain whiskeys and slightly peated malts, floral aromas, floral aromas, and the smooth mouthfeel with perfectly complementary in any moment. Okay. Not much of the tasting notes there, but I guess we can get the tasting notes as I taste it, right? I don't know. Let's do this. So I'm gonna pour me out a single, nothing too crazy. Not that I do a lot of drinks anyway, even though this is a bar. So okay, so on the nose, it's got a floral note. It smells really light, and you can smell a little bit of peatiness on it. Now for the taste. Not bad. It's an easy whiskey to drink neat. The floral notes are definitely there. So is the peatiness. So what you get on the nose is pretty much the same that you get on the palate, I should say. But I'm not a connoisseur. I really am not. I try to be, but the complexity of trying to figure out the taste notes and everything like that, it's just a little bit too complicated for my simple mind. Anyways, so there it is. Nikkade's Japanese whiskey. So cheers to you guys. BC Smalls, good evening. Thanks for coming by, and cheers to you as well, my friend. All right. So let's shall we begin tonight's study? We're gonna hit the Apocrypha, and if you guys have not been here before, I stumbled into the Apocrypha probably a couple weeks ago, and I was like thinking about going into it, like, researching and all that stuff and reading it, just going through it and reading it. But I said to myself, I know me, and I'm going to lose interest like real fast. So why don't I share this with everyone else and see what they think as well, and we all can put our minds into it, and I don't know, like, we can figure out whether we can gather this either the discernment, or if we can gather if it's truth. So I just thought that, having this as a group activity would be a very cool thing to do on the show. And for most of you people out there who know already, my path of truth is more towards the spiritual end of it. Everybody else has got the whole thing covered with what's going on with politricks. I like to call it politricks. But my truth seeking deals more with what's going on spiritually, because I really don't think a lot of people are paying attention to that angle of the warfare, because let's face it, this whole thing is a warfare. You like that video? He's preparing a cocktail. Okay, so anyways, back to what I was explaining about the Apocrypha. So according to, I guess, Greek, Apocrypha means hidden or secret, or something to that effect. And there are many books apparently in the Apocrypha, and from what I've heard, or from what I've had conversation with another fellow patriot who also comes here a lot, he was explaining to me that many books were taken out of the scriptures, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to delve in this too, because I want to see for myself if this is truth or not. So I'm not here to say like, okay, this is the truth, this is real. Like, no, we have to find out first. We have to see what it says, and we kind of have to compare it to what's in the scripture as well, because if it's totally from the scriptures, then it would support, the Apocrypha would support things in the scripture, if that makes any sense. Whiskey Blue says, woot woot, it's a party. I'm standing outside on break, dressed in my overalls, coat, hat, insulated socks, and boots. Nice and toasty. Man, it must be really chilly in your part of the country with all that clothes on, man. BC Smalls says, just don't waz your balls in the town water supply. Gosh, you got me. I don't know what you mean by that. If you're trying to be funny, I missed the punchline there. Whiskey says, supposed to drop into the teens tonight. Oh, sheezy. The teens, huh? Well, have fun with that, man. The lowest so far that I've experienced was last year's winter storm here in Texas, which the area that I was in, we got down to the low 20s with a wind chill. So that to me, that's like, I can't do this. That's just me. BC Small says, it's been snowing off and on around here. Well, where are you at? What state are you at? Oh, Washington State? Wow. Okay. Wow. Hey, Kiss. Good evening. Thanks for coming by, girl. Thank you so much for coming by. BC's in Wash. Okay. So, anyhow, let's go ahead and begin this. I guess we can call this a study, can we? Because it's pretty much what it is. I mean, we're trying to figure out. Oh, and before I go any further, there's this issue that I want to address, and it's not from this community, or I don't think it is. So, I post things on other platforms. BC Small Zero Montana. Sheesh. Yeah, man. I have a good friend of mine that I used to work with who's moved out there, who tried to convince me to move out there, but nope. Can't do it. I said, nope, I can't do those winters. It's just too crazy. It's too crazy cold. I'm an island guy. I'm an island person, and I need the warm weather. Anyhow, there's this issue that I want to address. And I don't think it's anybody in this platform, but okay, so I usually post my random reads on other platforms. Not platforms, but I should say social media outlets. I should clarify that. I post my stuff out on other social media outlets. Like, for example, Facebook, Instagram, Clout Hub, Gab, Twitter. I post stuff out there, not only to send the message out to what I've got from God that day, but also to promote the shows. For example, like for today's show, I promote in all those social media platforms, as far as like, Facebook, Instagram, Gab, Clout Hub, Twitter. I post it all. So I put a little description on what the show. I put a preface of what the show is going to be about. And so I posted that, we're going to be getting into the Apocrypha. We're going to continue the read on the book of Adam and Eve and all this stuff. Well, somebody decided that they wanted to, I don't know what it was, man. But they wanted to say, God always said that you can't put anything in the books or take out anything in the books. And God is all knowing, and something to that effect. Okay. Something to that effect. And I agree with what he says. I do. But that doesn't mean that there's no human being out there who is against God, who would actually take books out and hide certain things from people, right? There's a possibility of that. There is. So I told him, like, yeah, I'm a believer of God, and you don't think that there's a possibility of people like hiding certain things from other people so that they won't know. And he was kind of questioning my faith. And I said, as I wrote what I wrote, I said, well, instead of questioning my faith, why don't you pay attention and question your own faith? Because I'm on my own journey, and I don't think, I was saying that you don't have the authority to judge me. Like, I just started this journey about 1.5 years ago. So I'm fairly new to this whole thing, you know? And so he answers back, you know, he or she is trying to show that he or she knows more than I do. And I'm okay with that because I'm a forever student. I've never claimed on my show that I know all these things. I don't. I've already explained that, and I've already explained to everybody here that I'm a forever student. I'm never going to know everything. Never. I'm here to learn. My journey is to learn and, you know, kind of share my experience with everybody and hopefully inspire those other people who listen to the show to have that connection with God, because, you know, that's the best to me. I mean, my own personal experiences in this spiritual walk is the best testimony I can share with you guys, because what's my motive to lie about all this? You know, if it wasn't for the spiritual journey, I wouldn't even be behind this mic. And I'm just being real honest about this. So this person wanted to, you know, he or she wanted to flex on their knowledge. Well, I pretty much said, you know, in a nutshell, I'm going to preface what I said. I said, you know, in a nutshell, I said, it's people like you that discourage other people who are trying to find what the truth is with God. So you can take that for what that's worth, and God bless you. And that's how I kind of ended it, because, you know, I don't understand. That's what the Pharisees did. Like, they flexed their knowledge on people who were actually trying to find what the truth was. And I'm not here to flex up any kind of knowledge, because I don't know shit. I really don't. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn every step of the way, and I'm here to share this experience, this learning experience, with everybody who listens to this show, you know? Because I think we're all learning one way or another about something here, you know? I never claimed to be any kind of know-it-all. I never claimed to be some kind of theologian or any expert about this, because I'm learning. I don't know how many times I have to reiterate that I'm learning, but I know I don't think it's anybody in this platform, but I just wanted to put it out there and make sure that people understand that I'm here to learn, you know? Just because I have a show doesn't mean I can't be a student. I can absolutely be a student. I think I'm humble enough to say that I don't have knowledge. What I have is not even a hair follicle. It really isn't. And I know there's much out there to learn. But the thing is, with this learning thing as well, I know I have to have discernment with it. So, and that's the reason why we all here as a collected mind, to kind of bounce ideas back and forth and to see what we think is true and what we think is not. So I just wanted to kind of get that out there, because people would always flex about what they know. You know, at the end of it all, like, really? Do you really know? Instead of judging people and saying that you know more, why don't you check yourself in the mirror? Because everybody has something they have to fix about themselves. And I've never claimed to be even righteous. I'm still with fault, and I say that all the time. Anyhow, a little vent session there. Sheesh. All right. 123 SKG, good evening. Thank you for coming into the bar, my friend. Thank you so much. BC Small says, which a lot of other people do. You doing good. Well, thank you, BC Smalls. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And look, I pray to God every day, and I'm not saying that, look, I'm saying this in a way that I want God to keep me humble. I don't ever want to be, I just don't. And I don't think I have to say what I was going to say. I just don't, because I'm just like everybody else. I go through my own personal shit every day, just like everybody else. We all have issues we have to resolve within ourselves, because we are not perfect. We are not God. So we all have something we have to fix inside of ourselves, right? Or else we won't be able to make it up there. Well, at least with the intentions, I think with at least the intentions. You know, if God sees that you're trying your hardest, with really great intentions, with the true intentions, and also, trying to walk that path of righteousness. It's hard. It's hard. I've always said it's hard, and it's always going to get more tougher as time goes by, especially when it's going to be tested, because it will be tested. And, when those comments came out on, what I posted, I was even debating, like, should I even answer this, or should I just leave it alone? So I kind of asked God in my own way. I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to do? And he kind of guided me to answer the person in a way where I'm not judging him, but instead of him attacking me, I diverted it back to him. Because, dude, we all have issues to work on. We all do. We're humans. We're human. We're not God, So I'm sorry for blah, 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 and spewing this out, but I just thought that I had to get that out. And it also kind of kills time too. I'm going to take a swig of this. All right. Let me see what we got here. Shepherding Shepherd, here to offer love and hugs. You don't have to accept. God bless the show. Where we go one, we go all. We win. Is that what WW means, we win? Well, thank you so much. I will always accept love and hugs, especially if it's genuine love and hugs, because I only accept genuine stuff here. I don't accept counterfeit love and hugs. But I know, coming from you, Shepherding Shepherd, that it's going to be genuine. And thank you so much. Thank you. I really want to thank you guys for coming by. Now that I'm looking at the other channels, not that I should care, but because I know I have to focus on my own channel, but there's a lot of other cool people out there. And I'm glad that I have you guys coming here. Makes me feel like, wow, what I have to say holds some kind of importance. Cool. 123 SKG with a cookie. Have a cookie. Thank you so much for the cookie, my friend. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this, because we have a watch show. We have episode, I believe it's number 7, that we have to touch on. But before we do that, because I'm also streaming on other platforms, I kind of have to cut the stream on a couple other platforms because of I just don't want to get cut off in the middle of a stream on that platform. Worldwide, brother. Thank you so much, Worldwide. Thank you for, because I didn't know what WW was, but now I do. Now I do. Kiss, thank you for dropping the link so much. Thank you for your assistance, your continued assistance. I love you. Thank you. All right, let's get into this. Let me take us to the website that we have us on. Here we go. So I believe the last time we stopped at chapter 6. So now we're on chapter 7 of the Forgotten Book of Adam and Eve. This one comes from the website sacred-text.com. It was written by Rutherford H. Plott Jr. in 1926. So we're on chapter 7 tonight, and we will proceed to whenever we stop. So it says here, the beasts are reconciled. When Adam and Eve heard these words from God, they wept and sobbed yet more. Pardon me. But they strengthened their hearts in God, because they now felt the Lord was with them like a father and a mother. And for this very reason, they wept before him and sought mercy from him. Then God had pity on them and said, "O Adam," wait a minute, didn't I read this last week? We'll just read it anyway. "O Adam, I have made my covenant with thee, and I will not turn from it. Neither will I let thee return to the garden until my covenant of the great 5 days and a half is fulfilled." Then Adam said unto God, "O Lord, thou didst create us and make us fit to be in the garden, and before I transgressed, thou madest all beasts come to me, that I should that I should name them. Thy grace was one of me, and I named every one according to thy mind, and thou madest them all subject unto me. But now, O Lord God, that I have transgressed thy commandment, all beasts will rise against me and will devour me, and Eve thy handmaid, and will cut off our life from the face of the earth. I therefore beseech thee, O God, that since thou hast made us come out of the garden, and hast made us be in a strange land, thou wilt not let the beasts hurt us. When the Lord heard these words from Adam, he had pity on him, and felt that he had truly said that the beasts of the field would rise and devour him and Eve, because he, the Lord, was angry with them, on account of their transgression. Then God commanded the beasts and the birds and all that moves upon the earth to come to Adam and to be familiar with him, and not to trouble him and Eve, nor yet any of the good and righteous among their posterity. Then the beast did obeisance to Adam, according to the commandment of God, except the serpent. Wow. Obviously, right? Against which God was wroth. It did not come to Adam with the beasts. Chapter 8. The bright nature of man is taken away. Then Adam wept and said, O God, when we dwelt in the garden, and our hearts were lifted up, we saw the angels that sang praises in heaven. But now we do not see as we were used to do. Nay, when we entered the cave, all creation became hidden from us. The Lord said unto Adam, when thou wast under subjection to me, thou hadst a bright nature within thee, and for that reason could thou see things afar off. But after the transgression, thy bright nature was withdrawn from thee, and it was not left to thee to see things afar off, but only near at hand, after the ability of the flesh, for it is brutish. When Adam and Eve had heard these words from God, they went their way, praising and worshiping him with a sorrowful heart, and God ceased to commune with them. So, man, you know what I'm gathering? I mean, if you truly are trying to improve yourself and you truly repent to God about your sins and all, I that's exactly how we should be feeling too. Praising him and worshiping him with a sorrowful heart, because we try to do our best, and sometimes we can't be. It's just difficult to achieve. So, man, yeah, okay, cool. Next chapter 9. Water from the tree of life. Adam and Eve near drowning. Then Adam and Eve came out of the cave of treasures, and drew near to the garden gate, and there they stood to look at it, and wept for having come away from it. And Adam and Eve went from before the gate of the garden to the southern side of it, and found there the water that watered the garden from the root of the tree of life, and that parted itself from thence into 4 rivers over the earth. Pardon me, I ate. I ate not too long ago, so pardon me if I'm burping here. Then they came and drew near to that water, and looked at it, and saw that it was the water that came forth from under the root of the tree of life in the garden. And Adam wept and wailed, and smote upon his breast, for being severed from the garden, and said to Eve, Why hast thou brought upon me, upon thyself, and upon our seed, so many of these plagues and punishments? And Eve said unto him, What is it thou hast seen, to weep and speak to me in this wise? And he said to Eve, Seest thou not this water that was with us in the garden, that watered the trees of the garden and flowed out thence? And we, when we were in the garden, did not care about it. But since we came to this strange land, we love it and turn it to use for our body. So I'm assuming they're using the water to now bathe themselves. That's what I gather. But when Eve heard these words from him, she wept. And from the soreness of their weeping, they fell into the water, and would have put an end to themselves in it, so as never again to return and behold the creation. Wow, so they try to kill themselves, or they were thinking about it. For when they looked upon the work of creation, they felt they must put an end to themselves. Wow. Whew, man, that's rough. I mean, their hearts are very heavy. They're very apologetic for what they did. I mean, wow. All right, chapter 10. Their bodies need water after they leave the garden. Then God, merciful and gracious, looked upon them thus lying in the water, and nigh unto death, and sent an angel, who brought them out of the water, and laid them on the seashore as dead. Then the angel went up to God, was welcomed, and said, O God, thy creatures have breathed their last. Then God sent his word unto Adam and Eve, who raised them from the dead. Dude, that's freaking wow. Who would have thought that they even killed themselves? Wow. And Adam said after he was raised, O God, while we were in the garden, we did not require or care for this water. But since we came to this land, we cannot do without. Then God said to Adam, While thou wast under my command, and wast a bright angel, thou knewest not this water. But after that thou hast transgressed my commandment, thou canst not do without water, wherein to wash thy body and make it grow. For it is now like that of beasts, and is in want of water. When Adam and Eve heard these words from God, they wept a bitter cry. Man, dude. I mean, I'm trying to picture what they were going through with all this in my brain. And Adam entreated God to let him return into the garden and look at it a second time. But God said unto Adam, I have made thee a promise. When that promise is fulfilled, I will bring thee back into the garden, thee and thy righteous seed. And God ceased to commune with Adam. Wow. God's love is so... this is mind-blowing to me. I'm not even going to try to understand how God's love is for us, because he's God. I'm not a God. And wow. Okay. Let's continue on. Let us continue on. We're going to chapter 11. A recollection of the glorious days in the garden. Then Adam and Eve felt themselves burning with thirst and heat and sorrow. And Adam said to Eve, We shall not drink of this water, even if we were to die. O Eve, when this water comes into our inner parts, it will increase our punishments and that of our children that shall come after us. Both Adam and Eve then withdrew from the water and drank none of it at all, but came and entered the cave of treasures. But when in it Adam could not see Eve, He only heard the noise she made. Neither could she see Adam, but heard the noise he made. Then wept Adam. There's a lot of crying going on here, man. In deep affliction. This is like a soap opera, dude. And smote upon his breast. And he arose and said to Eve, Where art thou? And she said unto him, Lo, I am standing in the darkness. When he then said to her, Remember the bright nature in which we lived while we abode in the garden? Man, I mean, I'm not trying to talk any smack here, but Adam likes to bring up old shit, man. He can't move forward, you know what I'm saying? He just can't move forward. He's always reminding Eve of what she's done. Wow. O Eve, remember the glory that rested on us in the garden. O Eve, remember the trees that overshadowed us in the garden while we moved among them. O Eve, remember that while we were in the garden, we knew neither night nor day. He's living the old glory days, man. He really is. Think of the tree of life, from below which flowed the water, and that shewed luster over us. Remember, O Eve, the garden land, and the brightness thereof. Think, O think, of the garden in which no darkness while we dwelt therein. Whereas no sooner did we come into this cave of treasures, than darkness compassed us round about, until we can go no longer see each other, and all the pleasure of this life has come to an end. Man, dude, he's trying to make like Eve feel real guilty, dude. Oh, this is rough. He's like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm just, as I'm reading, I'm picturing this story as I'm reading, and I'm like, wow, dude, he really wants to make Eve feel like, bad about what she did. But it takes two. I mean, they both made the mistake. He could have just said no. He could have just said, what are you doing, dude? Like, why would you even do that? Why he could have said that, something to that effect. I'm sorry, I had to take a little sip of the Japanese whiskey here. Chapter 8, How Darkness Came Between Adam and Eve. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Then Adam smote upon his breast, he and Eve, and they mourned the whole night until dawn drew near. And they sighed over the length of the night in Miazia. And Adam beat himself and threw himself on the ground in the cave from bitter grief and because of the darkness, and lay there as dead. But Eve heard the noise he made in falling upon the earth, and she felt about for him with her hands, and found him like a corpse. Then she was afraid, speechless, and remained by him. But the merciful Lord looked on the death of Adam, and on Eve's silence from fear of the darkness. And the word of God came unto Adam, and raised from him his death. Dude, that's the second time, man. And opened Eve's mouth that she may speak. Then Adam arose in the cave and said, O God, whereof the light departed from us, and darkness come over us? Wherefore dost thou leave us in this long darkness? Why wilt thou plague us thus? And this darkness, O Lord, where was it eerie? It came upon us. It is such that we cannot see each other. For so long we were in the garden, we never saw nor even knew what darkness is. I was not hidden from Eve, neither was she hidden from me, until now that she cannot see me, and no darkness came upon us to separate us from each other. But she and I were both in one bright light. I saw her, and she saw me. Yet now Since we came into this cave, darkness has come upon us and parted us asunder, so that I do not see her, and she does not see me. O Lord, wilt thou then plague us with this darkness? Damn, dude. Man, yeah. There's just so many things I want to say here. I probably should, because, Adam, dude, like Adam's got to move on. Like, he's got to, just do what God told him to do, instead of like dwelling in the past and bringing this old stuff up to Eve, But, I'm not trying to, it's just the way it is, the way I'm talking this way, because I'm reading this and I'm thinking, dude, God told you to do something. Just freaking do it, man. Just do what he told you, The good old glory days are gone. I mean, you gotta move past it now, Oh boy. All right, chapter 8, the fall of Adam, why night and day were created. Then when God, who is merciful and full of pity, heard Adam's voice, he said unto him, O Adam, so long as the good angel was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his hosts. But when he transgressed my commandment, I deprived him of that bright nature, and he became dark. And when he was in the heavens, in the realms of light, he knew not of darkness, but he transgressed. And I made him fall from heaven upon the earth. And it was this darkness that came upon him. And on thee, O Adam, while in my garden and obedient to me, did that bright light also rest. But when I heard of thy transgression, I deprived thee of that bright light. Yet of my mercy I did not turn unto thee into darkness, but I made thee thy body of flesh, over which I spread the skin, in order that it may bear color and heat. If I had let my wrath fall heavily upon thee, I should have destroyed thee. And had I turned thee into darkness, it would have been as if I killed thee. He's right. He is right. Like, he brought Adam back to life twice. Wow. But in my mercy I have made thee as thou art. When thou didst transgress my commandment, O Adam, I drove thee from the garden, and made thee come forth into this land, and commanded thee to dwell in this cave, and darkness came upon thee, as it did upon him who transgressed my commandment. Thus, O Adam, has this night deceived thee. It is not to last forever, but is only of 12 hours. When it is over, daylight will return. Sigh not, therefore, neither be moved, and say not in thy heart that this darkness is long and drags on wearily. And say not in thy heart that I plague thee with it. Strengthen thy heart, be not afraid. This darkness is not punishment, but, O Adam, I have made the day, and have placed the sun in it to give light, in order that thou and thy children should do your work. For I know thou shouldest sin and transgress, and come out into this land. Yet would I not force thee, nor be heard upon thee, nor shut up, nor doom thee through thy fail, nor through thy coming out from light into darkness, nor yet through thy coming from the garden into this land. For I made thee of the light, and I willed to bring out children of light from thee and like unto thee. But thou didst not keep one day my commandment. What? Okay, so it wasn't even 24 hours and they freaking ate from the forbidden fruit or forbidden tree. Oh, man, humans, I tell you, man. What's that saying? You give him an inch, they'll take a freaking, they'll take a foot or something like that. It's a classic example right there, man. Give them a little, they'll take a lot. Where was I? Okay. Until I had finished the creation and blessed everything in it, then I commanded thee concerning the tree, that thou eat not thereof. Yet I knew that Satan, who deceived himself, would also deceive thee. So I made known to thee by means of the tree, not to come near him. And I told thee not to eat of the fruit thereof, nor to taste of it, nor yet to sit under it, nor to yield to it. Had I not been and spoken to thee, O Adam, concerning the tree, and I had left thee without a commandment, and thou hadst sinned, it would have been an offense on my part for not having given thee any order. Thou wouldest turn round and blame me for it. But I commanded thee and warned thee, and thou didst fall, so that my creatures cannot blame me, but the blame rests on them alone. Talk about taking some responsibility, yo. Whew, that's God telling Adam, dude, like, dude, you messed up, bro. I told you this, but you did that, and now you can't blame me because I warned you. Can you imagine that conversation? I wouldn't even be like telling God, like, yo, dude, you know, I wouldn't, dude. I just wouldn't. My head will be down and say, yeah, I messed up, Lord. I messed up. Okay, all right, I'll take it. You know, that's what I would be doing. I'm like, yeah, I did this to myself, man. And, O Adam, I have made the day for thee and for thy children after thee, for them to work and toil therein. And I have made the night for them to rest in it for their work, and for the beasts of the field to go forth by night and seek their food. But little of darkness now remains, O Adam, and daylight will soon appear. Oh, man. A one-on-one conversation, man, with God and Adam. Oh, dude. I can picture that. I mean, I can picture that. I can imagine that. All right. You know what? I think we'll you know what? Let's do chapter 14 and then we'll stop from there. But yeah, man, this is building up. This is definitely building up, dude. And I hate to say it, but Adam's acting like a little you-know-what, you know? Adam's acting like a little you-know-what. Okay, let's read on. Chapter 14, the earliest prophecy of the coming of Christ. Then Adam said unto God, O Lord, take thou my soul, and let me not see this gloom any more, or remove me to some place where there is no darkness. But God the Lord said to Adam, Verily I say unto thee, this darkness will pass from thee every day I have determined for thee unto the fulfillment of my covenant, when I will save thee and bring thee back into the garden, into the abode of light thou longest for, wherein is no darkness. I will bring thee to it in the kingdom of heaven. Dude, what is this with freaking Adam trying to make deal with God or something, dude? That's crazy. Like, he created your ass, and now here you are saying, well, like, come on, dude. This is pretty darn interesting. This really is interesting. Again said God unto Adam, all this misery that thou hast made to take upon thee because of thy transgression will not free thee from the hand of Satan, and will not save thee, but I will. when I shall come down from heaven and shall become flesh of thy seed. Okay, so dude, he's mentioning his son right now, Jesus. And take upon me the infirmity from which thou sufferest, then the darkness that came upon thee in this cave shall come upon me in the grave, when I am in the flesh of thy seed. So he's already prefaced his son coming back, way back then. And I, who am without years, shall be subject to the reckoning of years, of times, of months, and of days. And I shall be reckoned as one of the sons of men in order to save thee. Dude, he's already he's already prefacing it, man. He's already prefacing it. And God ceased to commune with Adam. Whoo. Wow. Okay. So here's a validation that he's already prefacing his son to come back. And that's been already prophesied in scripture, right? So this is it's supporting what scripture has. Interesting. We're going to leave it at that. Man, this is freaking badass. I mean, I was never one to read about these kind of things or even be into like biblical stories, but this is pretty cool. Let's go back to the bar, y'all. Let's go back to the bar. Oh, man. I'm going to have a little amateur moment right here. I may have a little amateur moment right here. Or maybe not. Try this. Oh, no amateur moment there. We at the bar, my friends. We at the bar. All right. Let's go back to the chats here. All right. BC Smalls says they were there. I think you were trying to say they were probably on drugs. BC Smalls says just experimenting on something new. Yeah sure. WC Cranoff says, brother, don't take these writings as actual happenings, could be, but also as control option. Listen to my teachers, wake up. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, it's just interesting that things are already they're kind of connecting. I'm not saying they're absolutely connected, but it gets interesting. It really does. BC Small says he's P-whipped. Just say it. Nah, it's not P-whipped. He's acting like a little you-know-what, man. Like a little soy boy, dude. He's not whipped, because if he was, he wouldn't be blaming Eve about all these things. I think he was just kind of like blaming her. He's like not wanting to take the punishment after what she did, when he also decided that he wanted to eat the fruit from the forbidden tree. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah, he's acting like a little soy boy is what I'm trying to allude to. Let's see here. Let's see. WC Cranops says, gifted the cookie. Thank you so much for the cookie, my friend. Thank you so much. Last pill, listen to Torah books of Moses, not man, which you are reading from. Okay. I am just reading, my friend. Like I said, I'm not saying that this is stuff that's truth. It's just something I bumped into and something I want to share with everybody. And I'm glad that I got you on my side, because now you can kind of like say, hey, it's cool to read these things, but at the same time, like, don't think it's truth. Because I don't, I'm not going to take it for absolute truth. I might take some parts of it as truth, but not everything. But the way it's written, though, the way this thing is written, though, is kind of interesting to me. It really is. It really is. All right. Let's see here. All right, we're coming up at the top of the next hour. So let me go ahead and set this up for the watch party. Let me get this thing all set up, my friends. We are going to have a great night as the plot thickens with Saul. Saul, man. Relentless dude. Like, he's trying to get rid of him. Let me just set this thing up real quick, guys. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. All right. Stand by, stand by. I almost have it here. Hold on. Okay. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and start the next episode, which is episode 7. It's entitled The Visit. The Visit. So I will see you guys after the show. Wait, before I do that, let me kill off the other streams first on the other platforms because I don't want to get striked. So if you are on YouTube or if you are on Facebook Live, you can join us here on foxhole.app or pill.net, or you can also join me on Twitch as the TheSpeakUNeazy 20, or on Twitter Live, I believe. Twitter Live. I'll be there on Twitter Live as well. So if you're on those other platforms, feel free to come over to the foxhole.app, pill.net, Twitch, where my username is TheSpeakUNeazy 20, or Twitter Live. So let me go ahead and kill you guys. Not kill you guys. Let me kill the stream for YouTube. Thank you for joining us, the one person there. And also on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us. But come over to the other platform if you can.